Hey, all you holistic hipsters out there, it's that time. So grab your chalice of choice and sit back and sip along with us. We would love to welcome you to the Tea Podcast, where we spill the tea on all things holistic in the pet grooming industry. Let me introduce you to our hostesses with the mostesses.
She is the socialite of skin and coat care, Ms. Michelle Knowles.
And the queen bee of all things oily, Ms. Melissa Conti-Diener. And guest host, a cute little kitty with murder mittens, Erin Shank. Brought to you by theoilygroomer.com. Are you searching for a new and more mindful way of grooming? Interested in understanding how to grow your grooming business with a more holistic and organic approach? Please contact Melissa Conti-Diener at theoilygroomer.com so that you can set up a meeting and bring balance and prosperity to your life. And allthingspaw.com. Intermediate and advanced courses in pet esthetician work, fear recovery, animal handling, and more. Get your learn on with all things paw. Spa La Paw in Vistancia, Arizona, ethical, educated pet care. And extra special sponsor, Emily Davis with Silver Caverns Artwork. The Herbal Paw Apothecary, consultations, customized kits, ear and wound support, and the home of Dewdrops, barrier repair for depleted skin.
Now, let's get the tea party started.
Alrighty. It is us. It is we. It is the Tea Podcast. How's everybody doing out there?
Hello, hello.
And we have our brand new special guest host, Erin Shank, home of the Murder Mittens. So we'll start this off our usual way. What's in your teacup?
So, I have this delightful little Mount Fuji mug. My husband graciously got me in Little Tokyo with your special proprietary brand.
It has no mark. Yeah, it's just my regular blend that I love, that I talk about all the time. And I have my little mushroomy cup that I got from my friends from Spa La Paw. And it is also my proprietary blend. And you can even tell that there's actually tea in it this time, Hal.
Oh, beautiful.
So how have you been doing?
Been good, busy, working nonstop, grinding. Nature took a hit at me, got a fever recently. It was it's time to sleep, baby girl.
Yeah. So what's going on with the salon? Are you guys doing anything new for the season or gearing up for when the snowbirds come back in the fall? What's going on?
Well, we do have our seasonal masks that we do. Right now we have our summer peaches and cream mask, and we're gearing up to start creating our fall mask because as the seasons change, so does skin needs. So that's really important to us.
So what's in the peaches and creams? Explain that to me.
So that is a probiotic mask that we always try to use natural whole ingredients. So it's really simple, really effective. We use just plain full fat Greek yogurt. We found a lovely blended peach tea that has chamomile and I want to say calendula. Mm-hmm. And there's clove too, which have a lot of great benefits for the skin, very soothing, that we just help blend with our conditioner, and we let it soak on them. And
now, is it just for the face, or do you use sometimes on the whole body?
Oh, we use for the whole body.
Nice. Nice.
We always love to hit the sebaceous zones as used hot, which is always the underbelly, the ears, the tail, and the feet. People always forget the feet.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Mm-hmm. All right. What do you have in mind for your fall?
Last fall, we went with the pumpkin spice theme. This year, we'll probably do something around the same. Maybe we'll do something more leaning towards a sweet potato.
Very nice.
Yes, our lovely groomer Tracy usually thinks of the theme of the mask, and then you and I typically actually curate the actual ingredients that will actually benefit the pet. Yeah.
Well, they just consult. I mean, they pick everything, and I'm like, yeah, that has an actual benefit or not. So very good, very good. Absolutely. So I recently went to Rocky Mountain Expo and spoke with a lot of lovely dear friends from the past and made a lot of new ones. And one of our special sponsors today, and probably for the near future, is Emily Davis, who has written a book, Guardians and Keepers of Myth. And I told her I'd make her a special spot. She is going to send me some of the artwork that goes with this story. And I'm going to make it into a quilt. So we're going to transfer it onto fabric. So that's another art thing that we've got going here. And I am currently, I think I have a meet and greet with Dr. Karen Becker. She's a DVM that's all naturopath, holistic. She's got a podcast. She's an author. And Kate Clayson and I are going to
Super Zoo?
Yeah. Super Zoo. And it will be just an overnight thingy. So that's what's in my near future. Melissa won't be joining us for a while, simply because she's getting her education at EVIT figured out. And she has a whole new group of students that she's catering to. Plus, she still has to get all her materials in order and all the things. So she's a little bit busy right now, but she's not gone or forgotten. But she will be returning after she gets all of that hashed out and her curriculum gets all smoothed out. So, but in the interim, we have the lovely Erin Shank, and she is with us today. And what we're talking about today is BAM! State associations and why they matter. Yeah, what do you think, Erin?
I think it is important to keep everyone on some sort of standard, and it helps the groomers themselves. It helps us to have that sort of community and like an actual backing. So when we have like those Karens or those crazy clients, or even just really concerned clients that hear all the weird, crazy, off-brand stuff that happens in the news of this one salon in Timbuktu and the freak accident happened, it's good to be like, well, we actually have standards and protocol and we hold each other accountable. So it just looks good for everybody. And I think it takes a lot of burden off of individuals when we know we can all come together. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge part of it.
I agree. I think especially here in Arizona, we've tried time and time again to have an actual association, but it always falls apart for one reason or another. And I'm not accusing or naming names or anything like that, but for some reason, we haven't been able to form this type of community. And I think now we absolutely have with the Arizona Professional Groomers Guild.
AZP double G.
Right. We have, which is headed by Mercedes Shank. No relationship. And that is weird because that is not a common last name. And I was like double taken. I'm like, wait a minute, she's Shank and you're Shank. And why? Wait a minute.
Cool chicks just have that last name.
I guess. That's such an unusual name to have and to know two people from the immediate area. I guess not if you're related and you have family. I don't know the things. I don't know the things. But anyway, I think that we're really going to get this done. Mercedes has really taken it upon herself to create an environment in which a lot of us do feel that we belong and that we have community. She's got lots of events. We've got a Halloween event coming that will include creative grooming, all kinds of vendors, education, and lots of games. It's family friendly and it's open to the community and not just the groomers, because we want to form a relationship with our clientele. And I think that's really important to have as many people know their association as possible. That way, if they do have questions, if they do go to a grooming salon, have an experience, and then have questions, they have an actual guild that they can go to and ask questions and get their voice heard, evidently. So I think state associations do matter because who else is going to help the community? You know, legislation may or may not be coming. I believe that it is eventually going to be coming. And it is a lot easier for the state to talk to an association of groomers than one groomer here and one groomer there who really doesn't want things to happen.
Oh, yes.
So I just think that it's a really good idea for every state. And then every state association should be associated with every other state at some level. That way we can unify and come together as an industry like never before. I think it's important to build a community that everybody can depend on, everybody can go to for questions, and at a national level, absolutely address any legislation that might be coming around the turn.
And I think it's important to nip this in the bud right now. There's like this back of the mind fear, I think I've heard some people have about being part of a certain association or group means you have to do everything this specific way, like down to like you can only groom a dog this way, you can't shave this, you can only shave that, you can't do this, can't do that. It's not so much of like you have to groom this one specific way. It's more about safety and standards in terms of like health and care. No one's trying to tell you exactly how to groom. We just want to make sure everyone is safe and you have help when you need it. I think that's a big thing that I've heard some people have the fear of like, well, if I join it, does that mean I have to like change this or change that? And it's like, well, as long as you're safe and you're doing everything to the best of your knowledge. No. I think that's a really important thing people don't think about.
I agree. And if you do decide to join, yes, there are requirements, little classes that you have to onboard, simply so that you can be aware of the latest in the technology of safety. How to use a grooming loop. You'd be surprised at how many don't use a grooming loop correctly, or any of the safety things that we have nowadays. And safety is number one: how to sanitize your tools, how to sanitize your shop, how to handle a dog correctly, so that you get the most out of the grooming experience. All those things, they're foundational. So if you're afraid, I'm going to have to change the way I groom, no one's going to come by and police your style or your breed standard or anything like that. That's on you to improve or do whatever that you're going to do. But as far as the foundation of safety and sanitation and handling, I think that those are the most important things that clients care about. So that's something that we are planning on doing. We already have an onboarding program with the Guild that has little videos that you just, after you join, they're free for you to watch. And then you can say, okay, yes, I've seen these and I adhere to the, to the, what do you call it?
Code of ethics.
Yes. She's my anger interpreter. So you adhere to the code of ethics, which is just be safe, be kind, don't abuse anybody. If you see abuse, stop it. Don't just say something, but stop it in its tracks. I often do tell this to students. If you see something that is, they're hitting, they're yelling, they're yanking a dog around, abusing a dog, don't just say something. Go over there and stop it. Even if you're going to get fired, because it's worth it. It's worth it to that dog. It's worth it to that life. And you want to be associated or work in the presence of someone who is abusing dogs. We all have to speak up about something, about this particular issue. As far as I'm concerned, one news story is one too many. And we are now hearing more and more of them, and always we ask, well, where was all the other groomers? Where were all the other people that were there? Was this person all by himself or herself or whatever? So it does matter. Speak up. There are a ton of salons that are hiring. They're not going to be mad at you for saving a dog's life in another salon if you are in fact fired for that. There's plenty of work opportunities for you to go to at any skill level. So I would hire somebody in a heartbeat that cared about the dog enough to say something and do something. Absolutely. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of things are we doing with our state association other than just events?
So yeah, the socials are a big part of it. We're also going to start getting the ball rolling on actual monthly grooming classes. I think we're also going to start working on like mini online classes for members that you have access to just being a member. And then we're going to start having actual in-person classes We'll reach out to the community, see exactly like who they want to see, what type of skills they want to brush up on, things like that. And then we're going to try, I think, to offer discounts too for those types of classes.
And the reason she knows is because she's the secretary.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I keep asking her. I'm on the education committee, but she takes care of all the details.
Yeah, I think a huge thing I personally enjoy about the APGG is that it's super focused on education. I think that's because grooming is one of those industries that you have to stay on top of your education if you want to like further your career, if you want to make a name for yourself, if you want to just keep a step ahead of everyone. The things are always changing. There's always new techniques. There's always new safety protocols. I don't know. I've learned like in like the 10 years I've worked here, like 5 ways to blow dry a dog. And that's just like one small aspect of it. There's always new science coming out regarding like health and safety and skin, new techniques, new coat types. It seems every week come into the salon. So I do appreciate that we're very education focused, and we're also very social focused because I think a lot of us do get kind of stuck in our own little bubble. So it's really nice to have these environments where you can go and branch out just among your own fellow groomers without any sort of like judgment or what's the word for it?
Just pressure.
No pressure. You just come and hang out. We do talk about grooming a lot. And sometimes we just talk about other stuff, like, I don't know, girl stuff.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Family stuff. Spouses are welcome at our get-togethers, unless it's specifically grooming.
Right.
Oriented.
And a lot of us, like Mercedes and I already have we're both holistic groomers, but our styles are both very different. And we already respect that. Like, I have no issue with the way she grooms, and she has no issue with the way I groom, because we're just, the most important thing for us is safety and what's best for the pet. So that's cool too. Like, you don't have to worry about this person grooms like this, but I don't groom like that. So are they going to judge me? No, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah. You develop your clientele over the years. I really believe that in my heart. Whatever you offer, you're going to find your people that love just the way you do it and no one else. And if you don't think that, try giving your regular client to somebody else for a day and see what happens. Oh, you didn't groom my dog. This was wrong, and this was wrong, and this was different, and this was different.
In the same salon.
Absolutely. So, we're very welcoming of that. And I think that all the backbiting that you see on social media, it just shouldn't be there. We're all very different. I think grooming is an art. Very much an art as far as styling goes. And yeah, there's a basic standard way to get what you're looking for. There's all kinds of pathways to get there. I really do believe that. And there's a clientele for each and every style out there. I believe that too.
I agree. Every client has different needs. So every groomer, you can find your match easy. If we all groom the same, we'd only cater to the same 5 people. So
that would be
the competition. There's no competition right now. There's so many dogs.
Exactly.
And 5 of us.
And sometimes your client doesn't get along with you just because you're different personalities.
That's true.
It's no big deal. Have them go to somebody else. It's fine. Some people love to be loved by everybody, but I think that's kind of an impossible goal to achieve. You can't be loved by everyone. Just by enough people so that you can pay your mortgage, right? That's the important part.
That's another great thing about having a state association is maybe a client doesn't mesh with you, but they're not necessarily a bad client. You can network out and be like, hey, I have this client that's not working out with me. They have these specific needs that I can't meet. Is there anyone else in this area?
And with an association, you actually know the people.
Super great part of networking, and because you can send them somewhere else that you can trust. Because sometimes I know it can be a little scary of I know there's other groomers in the area. I don't know how they groom or what their ethics are, but you could try them.
Right.
It's great to be oh, I know this person, this person.
I've been to their salon. I've met their children. They're a great person.
Right. We holiday.
Yes.
So that's important too. Networking is beyond just like having a community of friendship and knowledge. It's also being able to correspond clients because, like I said, not all clients that don't fit with you are bad clients. They're just not right for your salon. So you can be like, hey, they do it this way. You actually might really enjoy them.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Support other businesses.
Absolutely. And I believe, oh gosh, I'm so bad. I probably have to mention, I'm not going to even lie about it. There is a national organization, National Groomers Association, and I don't remember what the name of it is, but you do. All of you probably know what I'm talking about. If you get an association together, you can also be a member of this other association, and they do a lot of handling of legislation in different places and this, that, and the other. As you know, here in the recent past, not in the real recent past, but in the recent past, within a decade, California almost had licensing come, and Terry DeMarino and her group and other people helped her address this situation and get it off the books and say, how, come back with something different because this isn't it. And sometimes they do, the legislators want to do things just to appease the people who are paying, taxpayers, the clients. But a distraught client does not a good case make because they're just emotional. It happened to their pet. And yeah, I hate that happened to their pet, but that doesn't mean you should blanket all groomers under this one impossible legislation. And I don't see how making people pay a bunch of money for a license is going to make them safer. I think my deal is education and getting some kind of certification with a national certification like IPG or the one from Pat Lordson, Society of Canine Cosmetologists. I'm not too keen, and I know I don't want to get any flack for this, National Dog Groomers. I know that's been taken over by AKC. There's still a little bit of turmoil there, but that is one that was a standard national organization as well. You'd have to go to like Blake Hernandez and a couple of others. I think Helen Schaefer are the two names that just off the top of my head are in that world. So if you want more information about if that's settled down, how you get certified through them, I think Blake Hernandez is a certifier. So I would contact them or AKC to get more information on that one. But I know the Society for Canine Cosmetologists through Pat Lawrenson and IPG through Linda
Easton.
Linda Easton. Holy cow. Yeah, let me drink some tea. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Those are still rolling in the form that they have been. So those are some places to contact. Now I know others have popped up, and I'm not familiar with each and every letter certification thing out there, but that's a good start. Those are the big three in my mind that you could contact, and then do your research and do a little bit of digging and find the one that's right for you.
And with cats specifically, the only two I personally know about is IPG has a Master Feline program, and then the National Cat Groomers Institute.
So they're out there. And then, of course, we have the certification through Angie Coates for rabbit and small animal pocket pets. She's a great resource if you want to groom rabbits and guinea pigs and sugar gliders and chinchillas. Like she's the one. So we have a really good group of resources to get more knowledgeable. And it's not even to be better competition to someone else, just better yourself. The better each one of us is individually, the stronger we are as a whole. Or we're just as weak as our weakest link, however you want to look at it. So that's basically how it goes. So
it's like the law of physics. An object is only as strong as its weakest point.
Exactly. And if we are to become, quote unquote, an actual industry, a recognized profession, a career profession, then we absolutely have to get our stuff together and become a little bit more unified than we have in the past. Everybody is afraid of some unnameable thing, like I'm going to lose money, or I'm going to have to pay a bunch of fees, or I'm going to have to do this and that. Well, the way to assure that you don't is to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. So if you become active in your state association, or make one if you don't have one, and then become active in your national organizations as well, I think that's the best bet of becoming a unified force against people who want to see us be controlled in some way. And if we're going to be controlled, I would rather us be controlled by our own group. You know, doctors have their own board full of medical doctors. Dentists have their board full of dentistry. Cosmetologists has a board of cosmetologists. Plumbers have a board of plumbing. All plumbers, and groomers should have that as well.
That's another big thing I see is people outside of grooming themselves. They always want to bring in like veterinarians to, what's the word? Like vet grooming?
Yeah, to govern
grooming. And those are two completely different worlds.
I only know of a handful on one hand veterinarians that know anything about grooming at all.
Yes.
Ones that have actually been through grooming school just to see what it is so they can offer grooming in their practice. And others who have gotten into it as well. But just a small amount. Otherwise, they become veterinary dermatologists. That's considered a specialty. And a lot of them don't really know about grooming either, strangely enough. Grooming goes hand in hand with healthcare. It is hygiene. It is important. You can absolutely treat through the skin. So the more veterinary relationships that we as groomers can form, the better it is for the industry as a whole. And I know some who are doing just on the forefront, who are really gathering groomers together and giving them the love they deserve. We deserve that place. We're not a CVT, we're not a vet tech, but we certainly are derm techs, and we have a valuable position in the healthcare of animals that live in the home with people. So,
yeah, we should collaborate with veterinarians and not have them just come and govern. For sure.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've been considered just whatever for so long. Just go and wash your dogs. You don't know anything. I think we know quite a bit. And I think we get our hands tied quite a bit by a majority of veterinarians, not all. I think a lot of the naturopath practicing veterinarians are a really good source of information and of a partnership because they understand that that is a valuable part of the health of that animal. I'm a strong believer in diagnostics. I think that you should see the vet as much as you can for if you think something is wrong. If you're concerned about something, you should absolutely see a veterinarian, at least get the diagnostics so that you know what you're dealing with. There are ways to wash a dog or provide therapeutics without a diagnosis, but absolutely you should get that diagnosis first. You're not just spitting in the wind and throwing a bunch of product hoping that it's going to work because you don't know exactly what you're dealing with.
Things also always work best if you can work from the inside out. So, internal, not us. The vet can handle internal while we help external. So that's a win-win for the pet, for sure. Anyway.
So there is a place in the world for groomers to actually have a practice and not just cut the hair and be pretty.
No.
And there's always a space for that type of groomer. There's all kinds of groomers. There are groomers who only want to do hair and only want to make beautiful haircuts. There's nothing wrong with that. But we are experiencing a renaissance of people who are interested in therapeutics because we do see the pet more regularly than they would see the veterinarian. We are well skilled and well versed in looking at skin and seeing what isn't right and what is right. So if we see something that it ain't right, we should say something. We should be able to have external tools, external liquid tools to actually help the skin, and then have enough knowledge or be educated enough to advise the client, say, you know what, this isn't right. I can't say what it is. I don't know what it is, but you should certainly get it seen. I would really like all of us to be able to be at that level to say, you know what, this needs fixed. Or simply say, I can't give a haircut today because I don't know what's going on with the skin. And I know a lot of groomers are afraid to do that for some reason. They're afraid they don't want the client to be mad at them or lose the client. But in the end, every client you lose because you care about the dog, if the client tells anybody, yeah, she wouldn't groom my dog because she said that it might have an infection, but she didn't know. Well, that client is going to hear, oh, you mean the groomer cared more about your dog than you did? And you get 5 more clients in place of a client who doesn't believe in your type of practice. I think that holistic grooming, which is caring about the whole entire pet, not just the hair, is coming of age. I think there's a lot of people who care about handling and behavior and what you're feeding your dog, what the home life is. That's holistic. Holistic doesn't mean just having shampoos without insecticides, or something like that. It's an actual therapeutic way of thinking. It's holistic. It means mind, body, and spirit of the dog matters. The sound that you create in your salon, the environment you create is a relaxed enough atmosphere so fearful dogs can come in and get groomed and that nature. So I know you're thinking, well, what does this have to do with state associations? Because having a state association will give you a broader community from which to see their resources. If you're not holistic, but you want to be, but you're not sure what it means or how it is, now you have whole associations like, oh, well, her and him and they all do that. Now I have the resource of going to talk to those people.
Another thing that the Arizona Professional Groomers Guild offers is we're going to offer specific mentorships based on what the groomer is looking for.
So if you're looking for somebody who does holistic work and you're trending toward that, you have somebody that you can call up or email and say, hey, I'm really interested in that. I'm a member. And they're like, okay, let me get you started. Let's start here.
Yes.
Start reading this. Start looking at these
videos. Point you in the
direction
of the mentor you need.
If you want to have perfect trims on your poodles, or like, you know what? I know somebody who does really good poodles. Start there.
Creative grooming, cats. I don't think we have a small animal person yet. We'll work on that.
Oh, I'm sure we will. I'm sure we have one.
That.
But we don't know who they are yet.
We don't know yet.
But we're gonna reel them in.
We'll find you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another thing is we're gonna be offering mentorships, even base level mentorships of people who are just getting their toes into grooming, who just need to learn fundamentals, things like that too. Yep.
So if you're a beginner, don't be afraid to join your guild. Or your association. That's where the fun is. That's where the learning is. That's where the education should be.
And that's great on your resume for when you're going to actively seek out grooming jobs or bathing jobs. Is you're like, look, I actually have actual professional training under a state association.
And our grooming guild is also, it's been we applied for and received nonprofit status. We're all the way legal beagle.
Oh yeah, we're legitness.
She's got all the legit.
Mercedes ain't playing around.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah, and I know if we can do it here in Arizona, you can do it in your state because we have tried over and over and over to have one. We just needed the power and the stubbornness and the commitment of Mercedes for sure.
Oh, she's a powerhouse.
She really is. She's getting it done. So I do recommend everybody to either form or get in touch with their state association. Don't worry about all the legalese and this, that, and the other. Worry about what they're offering.
Yes.
And I think that's another point we should talk about as well. If I pay my $60 or $40 or $80 or $20 to my state association, and
what am I getting?
I'm a member. What am I getting? Am I getting just a pin and a certificate and then nothing else? The reason to join a state association or a guild would be to get that community, that information, that education, all the thing, the networking. There should be events available for you to meet your other groomers in your state and get together and find out, what direction do we want to go as a state, and start there. So I think that's really super important. All right. I think we've covered it. I think we're there. So if you have any questions, as usual, please make a comment, give us an email, let us know what's going on.
Contact your state association.
Contact the association. Oh, that's exactly what we're here for. Absolutely. And get it going. We're more than just groomers. We're a powerhouse. We're an important and needed part of our communities. And we love each and every one of you. And as usual, may your next be your pet.